not now we're confronting the issue of lack of cohesion. It is not now we're confronting the issue of lack of peace. It is not now we're confronting the issue of stability. They have always been there in Nigeria. Perhaps, the vociferous nature of this particular issue is why we are attending to it today. In the national cohesion, peace and stability was among the platform on which the campaign to force the military out of power was anchored. Then Nigeria's stability was blamed on the military, and the belief was that with the military out, Nigeria would begin its journey to peace, stability, and cohesion. We've always blamed everything on the military at one point. And then we all came to this consensus, edged on by the international community, that if we succeed in pushing the military out, we are going to restore peace, cohesion, and stability in our country. We succeeded in 1999, but between 1999 to date, it's a different story as far as peace, cohesion, and stability is concerned. So where is the problem? This is far from so in the last 2 decades. The reason for this is not far-fetched. Why we lack peace, why we lack cohesion, why we lack stability. Not only is nation building is a process of which Nigeria's experimental representative role formed one dimension. We're talking about nation building. It is not a one-stop journey. It is a process. And as a process, it comes in phases. So this is just one phase of it. The framework, the 1999 Constitution, on which the representative rule system was anchored, had been faulty ab initio, thus presenting the system with new sets of challenges and exacerbating the old one. Look, one of the problems we faced, and the second speaker actually touched on it, is the question of the framework, the 1999 Constitution. That Constitution is Nigeria's #1 problem.
The problem we're facing today, historically, we can locate it to the ardent intervention of military in Terrorism that took place in 1966, dissolving the structure that was meant to address the challenges of the Nigerian state and society. The structure that was a devolved power structure, in the sense that every regime was developing their own particular regime in their own space, based on cultural aspiration, based on the citizen demands, based on whatever security architecture that was ardent at that particular period of time. But with the military, the whole arrangement was shattered and the unitary system of government was enthroned and thereafter. So with the integration of military from 1966, we have a brief democratic regime in 1979 through 1983. But it was short-lived, and as such, the democratic ethos were not adhered to. So what I'm saying here is that the basic tenets of transparency and accountability was supposed to come from various regions, as what we saw in the First Republic. The Northern region, the Western region, the Midwest region was created in 1964, was also doing well in terms of security architecture, in terms of providing job opportunities, in terms of bringing up policies and programs that are aspiration of the people. But with the military in Terrorism, let's sit down at the headquarters, whether in Lagos and Abuja, begin to bring out policies and programs that are not in consonance with the reality of people at the grassroots level, being in the security architecture, being in social welfare policies, and whatever programs that they read out were centralized, within which the yearnings and aspiration of people at grassroots level was not captured in most of the program. Or they were captured, but if you come to implementation, we have a lot of hiccups, policy abortion, policy triangulations that cannot yield the desired effect of such particular programs and policies. So it was the bad effect for the military, and that is where our own security challenge of security architecture began to decline and fail. But with the return of military civilian government in 1999, one would have thought that yes, the civilian government will perform better in bringing us some of these particular things on the table that can give us good quality healthcare service delivery, education, and then welfare state administration, and also the issue of security. But the newly found democracy, which came in 1999, could not do better. Rather, they encouraged the issue of terrorism, election rigging, and all that. So, in the first place, for us to talk about the transparency and accountability as a panacea for national security, we must have to locate some basic requirements of this particular transparency and accountability that guarantees or serve as a panacea to national security. So, first on the table, in order to achieve the national security in relation to the concept of transparency and accountability, the following requirements are very necessary. And number one on the top, I talk about the enthronement of the true practice of federalism. That is one of the most physical accountability and transparency that our government fails to address. Because today, government will be talking about transparency and accountability. Don't relate financial accountability alone in fighting insurgency and all of that. We must also look at the structure, the company unit that also characterize the operationalization of the Nigerian state, which in this particular instance, the practice of true federalism is not assured. Rather, powers are concentrated on the top. Rather, decisions are taken at the villa. To move forward, we must have to decentralize our state institutions in terms of security architecture, welfare provisional programs, and every other thing that it is needed for us to move forward as a country. So, the other time when Boko Haram insurgency attacked the governor of Borno State, and of recent outcry when most of the people visited him to condole with him, he was talking about the issue of mercenaries, million JTF to be recruited into the Nigerian police and civil defense because they knew the terrain to fight the insurgency and all of that. I think he was economical with the word and also afraid to speak the truth. The truth is very simple. The structure of Nigerian federalism is too imbalanced, and as such, we need state policing. State policing that can cater for the yearning and aspiration of citizens within the area of their domain.